Yes. Welcome, everyone. Cannabis News with Joe Klare for April 30th, 2018. Brought to you by the Marijuana Times. Check us out at marijuanatimes.org. A bunch of great articles by a bunch of great writers, including myself. Also, every episode of Cannabis News can be found at marijuanatimes.org. All our social media networks, all that stuff. Go check it out. Make Cannabis Great Again. If you want the merch, check it out as well. MakeCannabisGreatAgain.com. You can also find Cannabis News on Apple Podcasts. If you want the audio-only version of the show, search the Marijuana Times on Apple Podcasts. Now get it on the go. The show on the go. Today, talking about a few stories. The city of Philadelphia may soon be getting medical marijuana dispensaries. Also, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who's has a new weed documentary out on CNN. We'll be talking about that throughout the week. We'll start today with his op-ed, his open letter that he wrote on CNN.com to Attorney General Jeff Sessions. We won't read the whole thing. Of course, every story I talk about is linked in the description of the video. You can go check it out. Also, the segment of the population that is smoking weed, or the number of people in that segment the number of smokers in that segment is increasing. Hold on. Time out. Take two. There's a segment of the population where more and more people are smoking marijuana, using marijuana. That rate of increase is outpacing other segments of the population. Which segment of the population am I talking about? I will tell you coming up. I'm realizing now that take two was not much better than take one, but it's good enough for horseshoes and hand grenades, as they say, or they used to say, at least back in the day. But of course, I tell you that Cannabis News with Joe Klare is brought to you by NatureSideCannabis.com. Side is spelled CIDE. Check out their line of organic, all-natural pesticides. Grow safe and poison-free. They're approved for pesticide use for cannabis cultivations in states like Colorado, Oregon, and Washington. Be regulatory compliant, and you don't use harmful chemicals on your grow that people are going to ingest. That would be horrible of you. Instead of doing all of that bad stuff, do the good stuff, pass regulations, grow safe and poison-free. NatureSideCannabis.com, proud sponsor of Cannabis News. His first story from Jason Sander over at marijuanatimes.org. City Center of Philadelphia to finally get its first medical marijuana dispensaries. As things stand now, there are some dispensaries out in the suburbs around Philadelphia as part of the burgeoning and growing medical marijuana program in Pennsylvania, but as of yet, there's not any in the city proper, I guess, as they say. That's going to change at the end of May. The first medical marijuana dispensary is going to open up in the 900 block of Frankfort Avenue. It's called Restorative Integrity Wellness Centers, and over the next couple months, there'll be 3 more to open in various parts of the city. Mayor Jim Kenney said in a statement, quote, "The opening of medical cannabis dispensaries in Philadelphia will make critical treatments more accessible to patients in need. The program is also creating attractive jobs, and the resulting tax revenue will fund important programs that improve our city and our Commonwealth." So more good news out of Pennsylvania. And he's right. I mean, obviously, the more dispensaries there are, the more they're centered in urban areas, the more access they'll provide for people who don't, for whatever reason, they're medical ailments, they can't drive out to the suburbs or even farther, sometimes, depending on the medical marijuana program and how many dispensaries there are. The shorter distance they have to travel to a dispensary, the better the access they will have to their medicine. The next story is from CNN.com. This says Sanjay Gupta is aired this weekend on CNN, part 4 of his weed documentary series. As I said, we'll be talking more about that as the week goes on. Maybe show some previews. I'll watch it. I'll talk about it, review it, whatever. But he wrote an open letter to Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Medical marijuana could save many addicted to opioids. I don't know if this is. I guess CNN.com would be the only place this could be. It's not. There's not a newspaper version of CNN. He's talked about it obviously on CNN, but the actual open letter itself, as I said, every story I talk about is linked in the description of this video. So again, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is, get a flavor of what he's talking about. Again, read the whole thing at CNN.com. Dear Honorable Jeff Sessions, I feel obligated to share the results of my 5-year-long investigation into the medical benefits of the cannabis plant. Before I started this worldwide in-depth investigation, I was not particularly impressed by the results of medical marijuana research, but a few years later, as I started to dedicate time with patients and scientists in various countries, I came to a different conclusion. Not only can cannabis work for a variety of conditions, such as epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, and pain, sometimes is the only thing that works. I changed my mind, and I'm certain you can as well. It is time for safe and regulated medical marijuana to be made available nationally. I realize this is an unconventional way to reach you, but your office declined numerous requests for an interview, and as a journalist, a doctor, and a citizen, I feel it imperative to make sure you had access to our findings. It's obviously Dr. Sanjay Gupta, when it comes to medical marijuana, especially CBD oil and CBD oil treatments for epilepsy, his weed documentary series on CNN has done probably more than any other single thing to advance knowledge and advance interest in that area of medical marijuana. Now, with Weed 4, he's switching to how medical marijuana can be used for people to get off opioids. And again, I suspect that even though that's a subject that's getting a lot of attention, this is going to jumpstart that attention for, a lot of people know Sanjay Gupta from many years of watching him on CNN. I know if you go to like a doctor's office, if they have those health networks playing, he's on there every 4.5 minutes. He's a respected, trusted voice by a lot of people who may not know anything about medical marijuana or felt no need to look into it. Maybe some of those people now, as has happened with the first 3 documentary series, a lot of people are going to look into the issue for the first time, and that's what we want. As marijuana activists, I don't need to tell you anything about the effects, the benefits, whatever. Do your own research. Go look for yourself. I'm not afraid of people researching marijuana. We have nothing to hide. I'll put cannabis as a substance up against any other substance on the face of the earth or in the known universe for lack of side effects, medical benefits. Lack of side effects and medical benefits. I will put it up against any other single substance. And it will come out favorably. For most substances, it'll come out more than favorably. It won't be there'll be no comparison. So, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, good. And it's like a lot of people who really, they looked at like the surface level of it and say, well, it's not FDA approved, and so on and so forth, and just dismissed it out of hand. Dr. Sanjay Gupta was one of those people. But to his credit, he's gone back and re-looked at it, and he's had the guts to say for the last 5 years, he's never shied away from saying it. I was wrong back then. I looked into it more. Here's what I found. Here's why I changed my mind. Here's why I think the way I do. And it's done wonders. Like I said, especially for the CBD segment. Most people who watch Sanjay Gupta, if they watch his weed series and they don't know anything about cannabis, they had no idea what CBD is, what it does, nothing. Nothing. It was not on their radar. They know, weed, they know THC, they know pot brownies, they know bongs. They didn't know CBD, but a lot of people do now. And drugs derived from CBD are being allowed. In places like the UK, the FDA just gave the committee or whatever gave approval to a spray, a pain relieving spray. It's the amount of momentum is increasing as time goes on, and Sanjay Gupta had a lot to do with that as far as the mainstreaming and normalizing and getting information of marijuana out there. This last story from Washington Post. Remember that segment of the population I was talking about so eloquently at the beginning of the show? Who's smoking more weed? It's older Americans. More older Americans are smoking marijuana. You see the graph there if you're checking out the video. Proportion of older Americans using marijuana age 50 to 59 has taken quite a jump since 1995. And age 60 plus has taken a huge jump since around 2010. Researchers William Kerr, Camilla Liu, and Yu Yi integrated 30 years of survey data from over 40,000 participants who reported on whether they had used marijuana in the past 12 months. Only 2 age groups showed a significant rise in use. Boy, they did that much better than I did. That's a short sentence. A significant rise in use from 2 age groups. Compared with older Americans 30 years ago, Americans aged 50 to 59 and 60 and older today are a remarkable 20 times more likely to use marijuana. This is a subject we've broached on here before. I've written about it before. There's some obvious reasons for this. Older Americans were brought up, with reefer madness, the DARE program, whatever. They were told marijuana causes cancer. It leads to other hard drugs. It'll destroy your life and leave you in the gutter. It will kill brain cells. It makes you lethargic and useless, and it's a horrible, horrible thing. They were told that all their lives. They didn't have the benefit of the internet to find these things out. But now the internet exists. Now their kids and their grandkids exist who know about these things, who do have the internet, who may use medical marijuana or recreational marijuana. They know a lot more about it than older folks. They're telling the older folks about it. The older folks themselves are doing research now because it's available online. And they're realizing that what they were told when they were growing up was BS. They got aches, they got pains, they got problems, they're stressed out, they're old, their body is starting to break down as all of ours are and will. And they don't, knowing what they knew was a lie, and knowing how much medical marijuana and marijuana in general can help them, they try it. And that's why you've seen such a huge increase. The use rate among young adults has risen over the past decade. For instance, people aged 18 to 29 went from 29.9% to 29.2%. Well, it's dipped a little bit, 2015. Americans 30 to 39 went from 18.1% down to 14.8%. These are actually dropping. And age 40 to 49 went from 9.6% up to 11.7%. So the older you go, the more the increase is seen. And again, because of the reasons I just said, all of those reasons hold up for every age group. And it's one of the things, obviously, that's leading to the switch in popularity when they do polls and such on marijuana legalization. Older folks and conservative Republicans are the last bastion of prohibition support, and that's starting to wither away as more old folks realize, again, they were lied to. They're in their 60s. They could have been doing this for many, many years, and they weren't, because they were brainwashed. They were told lies as a kid and young adults, and now they have a chance to make up for it, and that is awesome. Thank you for checking out Cannabis News. Start of a new week. Another awesome week. It's April 30th, 2018. Keep sharing, liking, all that stuff, the videos on YouTube and Facebook. Help us spread the truth about cannabis with Cannabis News, and make sure you check out marijuanatimes.org. Thank you to naturesidecannabis.com, a proud sponsor of the show. Go check out the organic, all-natural pesticides, and we'll see you tomorrow on Cannabis News.